My name is Dr. Bill Payne, the pastor of First Methodist Church in Live Oak, Florida. Have you ever loved someone so much only to have that person cause you great and terrible pain because of the bad decisions they've made? Over the Christmas holidays, my wife made a lot of wonderful treats, chocolate chip cookies, brownies, and everything. It was so delicious. One evening, my beagles jumped up on the counter and pulled down two plates full of delicious brownies and cookies. And before anybody knew it, they had eaten most of those desserts. Unfortunately, the type of chocolate that they ate was lethal to them. And so we began to rush around and to give the dogs hydrogen peroxide and to shake them. And one of them vomited it all up, but my dog, Lily, refused to vomit. All night long, I stayed up with that dog, angry, angry in my core that she had done that, and also angry at my wife for leaving that desserts in a place where the dogs could get them. Anger dominated my emotions. Fortunately, by morning, my dog had recovered and she was out of danger. I was so excited that I took my dog on a very long walk along the Swanee River. And as we sniffed out critters and chased animals, we also swam in the Swanee River and had a good time. That night, we had company over, and they brought a box of chocolate. It was wrapped up in paper, and it was encased in a bag that was inside something else. You know what's going to happen. My dumb beagle, with her beagle nose, immediately focused on that bag. And when no one was looking, she pulled everything out of the bag, went down to that box of chocolate, ripped the paper off the box of chocolate, opened the box of chocolate, and began to eat dark chocolate candy. She had, by our estimations, 4.5 times the lethal dose of dark chocolate in her. After having just lived through the night before, I was overwhelmed with emotional pain. Here we go again. And that night she wouldn't vomit. I stayed up with her all night long, and halfway through the night, I thought she was going to die. And I went and I got my wife out of the bed and I said, "Come, honey, say goodbye to our dog." Somehow or another, that dog pulled through. Needless to say, I was overjoyed but cautious. This is the way it is when you love somebody. Love makes you vulnerable. A person that you love has the capacity and the ability to hurt you. That's why it says about God. God loves us. And when we do evil and we hurt ourselves, God feels emotional pain. In Genesis 6, it says that God felt so much emotional pain. He was so deeply troubled in his heart because of the sins of humankind that he actually regretted that he had ever created them, that he'd ever made Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve just they just disappointed him, and their children disappointed him, and they continued to disappoint God. I just can't imagine how God dealt with all of that disappointment. I have a friend, well, not really a friend, but I know somebody, a young woman who loves God very much. And she fell in love and she married somebody that she thought was going to be the perfect man. And over time, this man began to turn to alcohol and to drink more and more. And then he began to drink and get binging and began to vomit and ended up going to the hospital and had all types of problems. And every time this man tried to fix the problem by going to AA and getting rid of all the alcohol in his house, something would happen and he'd go back to the alcohol. The person was so disappointed. Yet, even with her disappointment, she never stopped loving the man. She stayed by his side, supporting him and attempting to change him and to give him the environment that he needed to recover. You know, in the same way, you and I, like my dog and like this man, we sin and we do things to hurt ourselves and to hurt others. And God is always pained when we do such things. And like my friend, and like me, and my beagle, God never gives up on us. God is always rooting for us. God is always standing beside us. God is always helping us to make the best decisions. We should always remember that God loves us more than we love ourselves, and that we can always trust God to help us make the right decision. Don't give up on yourself.